So after hearing more than 80 witnesses, the fate of Lindsay Clancy is now in the hands of 12 Massachusetts jurors. That panel, made up of 9 women and 3 men, is deliberating whether Clancy is guilty of killing her 3 young children or not guilty by lack of criminal responsibility. Jurors are going to receive separate verdict slips for each of Clancy's slain children, and though the top count is first-degree murder, as we talked about, jurors could decide instead to convict her of second-degree, even manslaughter. The debate in that jury room may be fierce. And thankfully, we got 2 leading experts to help break down what may be happening behind those closed doors. So I got jury consultant Dr. Lillian Glass and reproductive psychiatrist, CEO and co-founder and medical director of the Motherhood Center and a clinical associate professor of psychiatry at Weill Cornell Medical College, Dr. Katherine Birndorf. Thank you so much for coming on. Dr. Glass, I'm going to start with you. I've been saying, I think this is going to be a long deliberation period. How long do you think these jurors are going to deliberate for?
Jesse, it's hard to say, but it's going to be a long time because there's a lot of information they have to get through, and it's very technical information and very emotional information. So it's going to be a long time. And then you're going to have some conflicts, perhaps, with the other jurors. So it's not going to be an easy task.
And I wonder, I talk to people about this case, and they're pretty stuck in their opinions. I wonder if you're going to get a unanimous decision or potentially a hung jury. Put that to the side for a second. Dr. Birndorf, in your experience, how difficult is it to convince the jury of a psychosis defense? Does postpartum psychosis face, its own unique hurdles? Because I wonder, are people skeptical? Are they skeptical, especially with the killing of 3 young kids? Or, as the defense would say, it's the only way to explain how a mother could kill their kids?
Well, that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, the behavior and what we're seeing and what we've learned is very consistent with what we know about postpartum psychosis. It is not someone who is stark raving mad, right? Like, I think that what's hard is that you may expect to see somebody really behaving erratically and irrationally, and that's not what was seen. So it can be very confusing, but this illness is tricky, and diagnosing it is difficult when you have sort of a fixed false belief in the back of your mind that is telling you something that is very much out of touch with reality.
Dr. Glass, I thought it was significant that the judge told the jury if she's found not guilty, she would be committed to a hospital or a mental health facility. Do you think that's going to affect their decision at all?
I think it could, because people that feel for her could say, well, it'll be a lot better for her to be in that institution where she could get help, where she could deal with her life a little better. But either way, her life is pretty much over, because when you see her reaction in the courtroom and she's so emotional, it's really devastating to see.
By the way, Dr. Birndorf, if she were found not guilty and committed to a mental health facility, could she ever get released? How would that even work? I know it's up to the court's decision.
Yeah, it's not a decision, I know the answer to,
Yeah.
But what I would say is, much like what Dr. Glass said, I mean, her life is so devastatingly different. And I think that were she to be released, she would have to be in a restored and well state of mind. And when you're in that state of mind, to recognize what you've done, it's got to be very hard to go on.
Yeah. Dr. Glass, going back to you, I was talking about it in my last panel. Do you think it's going to be difficult for this jury to find her not criminally responsible in any way? I mean, there's multiple options. There's different theories for first-degree murder. There's second-degree murder. There's manslaughter. You heard the prosecutor talking about what these 3 kids went through, the idea that they had to recognize that their mother was doing this to them. Do you think this is going to be a situation where the jury is going to maybe say, we just can't not find her criminally responsible for killing her kids?
Well, again, that's not for me to say. That is for the jury to say.
Sure, but I'm curious your experience as a jury consultant.
Exactly. And it's impossible to say. I wish I could answer that question right off the top of my head, because you can go either way with this case, Jesse. I mean, it's so complicated, and it's so emotional when you really think about it, that here's a mother, and yet she's having reactions, and they're watching her in the courtroom, and then they're also watching the attorneys,
Sure,
and that does play into it.
Dr. Birndorf, from a medical point of view, let's talk about this for a second. In order to prove first-degree murder, they have to show deliberate premeditation or that it was a cruel killing. But can jurors differentiate between rational planning and a plan that's driven by psychotic delusions? Is there a possibility that she could have command hallucinations and yet can't determine right from wrong? I mean, how is it so siloed as the prosecution would have you believe, or is it a lot more complicated?
I think it's pretty complicated, but you have to look at the context of who she was and then what happened. It's so starkly different. And I think when someone's in the throes of a psychotic experience or illness, they believe what they're doing is right. Now, if they're in reality, they know it's wrong. But in this state, you believe what you're doing is the right thing to do. That is a psychotic, out of reality thought that killing your children might be saving them. Killing yourself might be doing the right thing. And that is common in postpartum psychosis, that you may be having this belief and these command hallucinations telling you something that you wholeheartedly, unshakably believe to be right. And again, when you're well, you can say that that is wrong. But when it's happening, you cannot say that.
This kind of conversation that we're having right here, the kind of conversation that I had in my last block, this is why I think this is going to go into next week. This is why I believe there's a strong possibility that these jurors might not have a consensus. I'm not surprised they didn't come back with a verdict today, but will they come back with a verdict tomorrow? Will they come back with a verdict early next week? We'll see.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.